Yo, my people, welcome back to another episode of... Today we're going to be speaking about Drake and discussing his latest album, Iceman. We're not really going to be discussing Habibti and Maid of Honor, but today, alongside me, I'm joined by Hamza.
Thank you for
and
having me,
Mr. Jay Milli himself.
Let's go.
So guys, before we get started talking about this album, why do you like Drake? You could think about your earliest memories of when you first became a fan. You can think about maybe later years where you became maybe one of your number one artists. Why do you like Drake? Hamza, I'll start with you.
Yeah, man. Well, I feel Drake's been a part of probably all of our lives at some point. You know what I mean? He's really that type of artist where when I was growing up, early secondary school days, we're talking like early 2010s, late 2000s, right? He was one of the guys part of the blog era, basically. So that's kind of the era that I really had an affinity to in terms of like when I was growing up. So when Drake first came out, I was also like into Young Money. You know what I mean? So
I thought everyone was like a Little Wayne fan at that time as well.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Like I was big on Wayne,
you
know, and even other artists adjacent to his era.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I see Drake under Wayne's like wing, I was like, okay, let me see what he's got. And you know, I kind of liked how he was focused on kind of changing the kind of genres landscape that we kind of see today. And then going over to present day, it's more like he's now that nostalgic person that we've all grown up listening to. Yeah. So even to present day, it's just like now it's just like he reminds you of that kind of time when you were growing up and he was at his peak and prime. So
it's like crazy, like primary school to now.
Do you know what I mean? I'm still talking about him. So
yeah, it's crazy.
There's something to that.
Yeah. What about you, yeah?
Why do I like Drake? Where do we begin?
I see the top on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't rep him, man. But no, like I can only echo what you said. Like I feel like a big part of it is I grew up, I guess, with him. Obviously, I don't know him. Like I'm not trying to say that, but like primary school, he was playing. Secondary school, college, even now as I'm an adult, he's just kind of just being there the whole journey. You've seen the evolution. You've seen the way he's transformed as an artist. And the thing about it is, he's just, call a spade a spade. He's, in terms of rap, the greatest hit maker. Like, time and time again, when people have doubted him, time and time again, when someone new's challenging him for the throne, he would just drop a summer hit, or he would just drop a rap hit, or he can delve into so many types of bags. Like, you look at it and he's got a song for everyone. That's the one thing I'd always say, like, against people who don't really like him or don't really mess with him. Like, even then, you still have that one Drake song. And I feel like not many artists you could ever say that for. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the same thing, like me, the reason I like him so much is because I'm someone who likes the album cut. So whether it be 30 for 30 freestyle or The Ride or songs like that where he's just rapping his ass off, I like that. But then socially, there's always a Drake banger. So you could connect with people on that. There might be an R&B tune you could connect to with a girl on that. So like there's always a Drake song that you could connect with somebody from some point in life with, even if it's just passion fruit. Yeah. You just play that and it's always the safe answer. And I think sometimes people critique him for always being kind of the safe, he doesn't really go out into certain bags, but I feel like someone has to play that position, and I feel like he's done that well for his era, in my opinion.
Plus, what I like about him the most is the guy is super locked in, he's super calculated. Everything that he does, every album, every song, there's like a super amount of thought that's gone into it, where it might on the surface seem like, he's just trying to cater to the mainstream audience or something like stuff that you mentioned about stuff like the interlude that he might have in every single album where he uses that to put on the next
timestamp series as well.
The timestamps, and obviously he was a big part. I'd say obviously you can big up 50 Cent when he was, singing on the vocals of 21 Questions, but also rapping degree shit. But I feel like he kind of took that fusion of singing on a track whilst also rapping to a next level where we now see like it more often in music, but he was, I wouldn't say pioneer because as I said, there was people performing, but
the Andrew 3000, but like he was, I think what he brought was a level of vulnerability, like you said, where he could be singing about him taking a loss, but like you actually feel it, like, and I think that's another thing I really liked about him, because like someone like 50 Cent, their kind of brand is like they're always winning, they're they'll be a bully to Rick Ross, they'll be a bully to Ja Rule, and you're like, you kind of like that. But with Drake, it's like, he'll tell you like, yeah, like I fumbled this girl, this happened, like I'm upset about this. And that level of vulnerability for someone at the top is like kind of unheard of to a certain degree anyway. But yeah, I think, what would you guys say is your favorite Drake album, or maybe the album that made you fall in love with his music?
For me, even at the time and even present day, it's always been Take Care as my favorite. Like even just now, we're mentioning the fusions of genres that he used to do. Yeah. And yeah, that was just like the one that's felt like it really leveled out everything. Yeah. And at his peak musically, I feel like you mentioned the rapping earlier. You know what I mean? I love when he's like on his rapping aggressive style as well. Like Lord Knows, for example. That's one of my favorites. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like that's an underrated Drake.
So underrated. A Just Blaze beat, one of my favorite producers of all time as well. Yeah. And you can't really get him out of his house nowadays. He's ain't really got that renowned name anymore. But to have like a beat like that and to really spit over that alongside Rick Ross, RIP to their friendship, obviously. But yeah, like that's really the pinnacle for me in his music. So if I had to pick one.
Who produced, actually, sorry, you say yours. I'm trying to think who produced You Only Live Twice.
Oh, was that off the top of my head? That's Bink.
Oh, okay, it's Bink. I thought it was Just Blaze for a second, because that song as well.
It's very, Just Blaze-esque. Yeah. And I love You Only Live Twice. Yeah. That's a really good tune as well.
What about you, Jay?
Split it into two questions then. The first time I ever found out about Drake was obviously Bedrock.
Okay, fair enough.
That was like when, I think that was probably my first introduction to Nicki Minaj as well. It was that whole Tiger, thought, all right, cool, nice little verse, but everyone's just doing a young little short snippet and you're getting a taste of what's to come. Then I didn't really have access to like streaming platforms or stuff like that. So
that then it was like YouTube.
Yeah, someone
have to Bluetooth it to your phone. Like this is a very long time ago.
I'd only be getting like the main hits. Yeah. So it's like I never really took in So Far Gone, Thank Me Later, till like maybe 2014 times. Yeah. So I got Spotify around like 2013 times. So my first album, when I first took in like, yo, Dre, Nothing Was the Same. That was my first one, Worst Behavior, all them kind of tunes. Like, Then that allowed me to then Take Care, and then the rest. Favorite one though, boy, that's hard. But one thing I will say, is it's in my personal top 3. Might change, obviously, because he just keeps dropping. But I really liked Scorpion, and I know it gets a lot of hate. Yeah. But something personal to me, I really liked that one. Obviously, you could say like the mainstream ones, like your Take Care. That's one that everyone's gonna like. I don't see how you can't like that. You get a bit of everything on that one, and I think that's probably his most successful one, all in all. But
critically acclaimed at least. Anyway.
Yeah. So like on a personal level, I'd say like Scorpion sticks out to me. Honestly, Never Mind, again, something about that one just done it for me. Like
it's quite some rogue picks, you know.
Yeah,
for real.
So like, why would you say you really like Scorpion? Because obviously it was coming off the Pusha T beef. I think God's Plan is his biggest song ever. Maybe statistically anyway. So like what resonates with that album?
I'd say that obviously he's always been vulnerable, and like that's just been a constant theme in his music. But it felt like on that album, like you see him at his true like vulnerable state, like stuff like Jaded, him talking about the birth of his child, him talking about his mum, him talking about delving into the beef here and there, but obviously not making it the theme of the show. I just felt like I got like the real Drake on that one still, and then obviously you get the main hits on it as well. You get a bit of everything. Like it felt like a very R&B, but like soulful kind of project. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it would be Nothing Was the Same, because like you said, we were in like secondary school around that time. And it felt like, you know when someone says, oh, you weren't there for this album? Like, Nothing Was the Same. I was there when every single was dropping. I was appreciating the time. I was enjoying it with like fellow people, people around me. I remember, imagine I'm not going to tell that story. But yeah, like I used to really like that album. For me, it was an album that I could just listen to. I remember, I don't think you were in my English class, but like, one of our teachers used to play the Janae Eku and From Time. Yeah. Just the instrumental, and I just fell in love with that. Every single part of that album for me is just perfect, but it was Drake at, for me, his best, where he had the hits, he had the like songs where you want to sing to it. He had, it just had everything. It just had it. The features were perfect.
That felt like he really stamped him in the game.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But obviously, as you guys can tell, we're British. So I wanted to kind of discuss kind of Drake's relationship with the UK. Obviously, he's collaborated with guys like Jay Huss, Dave, Skepta, Gigs. He's had production from someone who I'm not going to name. And he's even had production on the latest album with some UK producers. How do you guys view Drake's relationship with the UK in recent years or in the past anyway?
I think it's actually quite complicated in a way. As kind of thorough as he has been and linking up with the UK guys for a long, long time, you know, I can't even, if I even think back the first ever time.
Maybe it was Sneakbo.
Yeah. I remember him sitting on a, what was it? Like a BBC...
DJ Syntax, I think.
We can't remember
Sanford, yeah.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy,
Yeah, so I feel like when I first watched him explain how he was on YouTube and he was looking at Sneakbo and odd ads and all that stuff, I was like, okay, this is actually different. You know, you don't really hear like American/Canadian rapper talk about artists that aren't even on the charts. Yeah. So I've kind of gone through peaks and troughs of feeling like, okay, he's actually authentically into what we're doing, but also feeling like he's leeching a bit too much because everyone was on the come up at that time. But the more I've kind of taken it to present day, and it's like he still works with these people. And when you think about the Canadian and UK kind of culture and the way it interweaves, I'm like, okay, maybe he is authentic with it. But at the same time, I do always have that caveat at the back of my head because he does take something from this subgenre and take something over here, and then he puts it into his melting pot. So sometimes
then he'll get the credit for it rather than maybe the original artist.
Yeah, often I feel like he does, and it's just like, it's a really interesting relationship, I'd say. And like, for example, like take when he was trying to like, you know, be into like Wiley and stuff, and Wiley was not having it, you know, that relationship didn't work out, you know? So yeah, it's a mixed one, and I don't really know where I feel about it at all times, you know what I mean?
How about you?
You know, I've always had a strong stance in it. End of the day, the music thing, it's business. There's no feelings, there's no emotions in it. And it felt like for the longest time, obviously I know he's not American, he's Canadian, but he's within that market. Yeah. It's always felt like it's like a huge dream for a UK artist to even remotely collaborate. When we saw Chip and Chris Brown growing up, that felt like what the fuck are we seeing there? So I felt like, whilst people might say like, oh, he's using this artist and he's using that artist, just see the positives in it. Like, he's giving them a platform. We're all aware of the Drake stimulus package. Anyone who jumps on this track, you're getting an extra how many million views, how many million streams, different level of exposure. You ask any UK artist who has collabed with him, they will never say a bad word about him. They'll always say...
Dave has like, what was it, my 24th birthday, like Drake's always there when I needed him. So he's even said that.
And there's probably, because again, I know he's a super calculated guy. Like, he probably does still stay in contact with him. There's no way people can prove that he's just done a tune, gone by his business, took a bit of this, bit of that. Like, and I just think I don't really see an issue with it. Plus, I also think he's just genuinely tapped in. Especially the biggest moment for me was when he sampled Kyla's "Do You Mind" on, I think it was a Control. It was one of them. One Dance, yeah. And it's like, I grew up on Funky House. I was living through that through my parents. Funky House was not a worldwide thing. That was like, you had to be there, you had to grow up in that. It was like a niche genre. So for him to just, I don't know if he done his research, I don't know if someone put him on, but for him to give that type of tune, that exposure, and flip it like that, you have to have some sort of like knowledge, or you have to be tapped in some way, shape or form, rather than just doing like a mainstream British track. So
yeah, where I give him credit is that he's consistently kept on doing it. And where people would have evidence more for against what he's done is if he just woke up one day and stopped. Yeah. And we didn't have some sort of UK influence on his recent albums, at least during this decade. So I'm on the fence with it because I don't really praise him for it either, because I do feel like the UK can sustain its own popularity as its own culture. But at the same time, I do feel he's got real relationships here too.
Yeah, because like you think of Central C, Heady One with Only You Freestyle. So like, he collaborates with our artists. He brought back Top Boy, which was one of our like most not heralded shows, but like we love that show. So
my question,
I think it's been a net positive because it's not like he just collaborated with that 2016, 17 time, like that low ski period, that section. But it's not like he just extracted when they were hot and then he just left the UK. He's still like throughout the years, like still supported our like artists, and when there's a chance to take them to the next level, he has tried to support. So as a UK listener, I'm not like get out your culture vulture per se. I've seen him do it to other people where in America per se, where it feels like, okay, they're the hot sound at the time, let me just take from them and then you never hear from that person again. But it feels like with the UK, he sustained that relationship.
But that's slightly just music though. Like, I don't know if he
but just because it's music doesn't make it right though.
But if let's say he collabed with like an Afro swing artist at the time, I don't expect him, because Afro swing in itself has fallen off. Music evolves. Like there'll be one SD Kids trending right now. His genre, that might not be the thing. And that's the reason why Drake's been so successful. He's the king of evolution. And I think in football terms, you look at someone like Alex Ferguson, the reason why he was so successful is because he didn't just have his early 90s with the class of 92 and then stay there. He got rid of them, gets a new team. Got rid of them, gets a new team. Yeah. Adaption's the hardest thing. And like you look at even someone like Pep Guardiola, he's only done it like twice. Like it's so hard to adapt and evolve with changing time. So
I guess using your football analogy though, a lot of people call him like a tap-in merchant where everyone else will be doing the work, and then he'll be there at the end just to take the credit, get the goal, and then be in the history books.
Look at Ronaldo.
No, but Ronaldo used to create his own goals as well. Let's not do that.
Drake used to, and now it seemed like he's at a high enough point where it's just...
No, but like even when Ronaldo used to do it, was shameless. Like people would be like, "This is disgusting." Like have a bit of shame about it. So I guess the
part I don't like is when he kind of makes a caricature of himself, and it kind of becomes synonymous with the identity. Yeah, you know, I feel like that's why, to your point, where if you're saying like if it's just business, I feel like he makes it more than business. You know, so obviously if it doesn't feel like synonymously transactional, you're right there. But I just also feel like when he's just trying to like put the lingo in his words and trying to act like a UK guy, that's the part that makes me cringe the most.
No, I will say he's corny. I feel like he knows he's corny as well. I feel like he definitely plays into it. Yeah, it's a funny kind of like, I can see the comedic edge to it, but I can also see how some people just cringe.
Now there's some comedic aspects that I've also appreciated more. Like when we talk about the Iceman stuff later, we'll definitely get into that. But yeah, I just think maybe he needs to just tone it down and just have some self-awareness about it at least, because if you're trying to be perceived as an artist, then I just feel like you have to kind of just play a certain role at times. If you're like considered the biggest rapper and you're just feeding the fans, you're also feeding multiple cultures. You just kind of need to sit in a certain realm with it, you know, and don't overdo it. Yeah, that's what I feel.
I agree. I think, speaking of Iceman, I think last year, Wireless, he previewed some of the songs that would be on Maid of Honor, Habibti, and Iceman. What were you guys' thoughts on the whole Wireless situation where they labelled it Wireless and the Mandem? He lost the beef and then it felt like, let me go to the place that I know I'm loved in the UK. They'll glaze me regardless of whatever happened. What were you guys' thoughts on that and the way people kind of reacted to it? And do you think people were a bit harsh? Because I don't know anyone who went that was like, no, this is terrible. Or like, I did not enjoy this performance.
Well, I heard a few things actually. It was 3 nights. Yeah. Some people didn't like all the nights. Yeah. That's what I heard. I think some nights were better than the other. But also overall, greatest PR campaign of all time, man. like greatest PR campaign. I just had to clap it up. Yeah. You know, just on an objective basis and being like, okay, you're coming back to where you're loved. You know, you're having a hard time over there post beef. Yeah. You're coming back to where you are 100% gonna get all round love. Yeah. You know, so I do feel like it was quite tactical. Yeah. You know, and again, from an objective standpoint, sometimes you just gotta stand and clap it up. Like he's kind of playing the game in that aspect, you know. But we're kind of seeing it similar, like when certain artists go through like controversies, they go on like an apology tour. You know, you have to win the public back. Yeah. You have to clean up your public image, so on and so forth. So it was well played, but I also did feel like, we were kind of like little broed.
Yeah, to a certain, and especially like the way Wireless has turned out this year, where we kind of are trying to beg Kanye West in 2026 to come be our headliner, and then that gets cancelled for obvious reasons. And then it's just like, who's our superstar that we can replace him with, or replace him for each day? It's like, it kind of shows you the state of the UK scene. But what was your thoughts on the wireless situation last year?
With the white Drake and the Mandem thing, like, I was just thinking to myself, but that's the thing. It's just, that's what comes with Drake, innit? Like, everything's gonna be scrutinized, everything will be criticized, everything will be overanalyzed to a point where sometimes it's valid, sometimes it's not. Shit, I didn't see the issue with it. They agreed to it. I went on the Saturday where it was just purely rap. Had a blast. Jay Huss came out. SDK, no, it wasn't. Fake Mint came out, but he performed the SDK song. Dave came out. Central C came out. It was a good show. I had a good time. Everyone had a good time. And obviously the Sunday, I saw complaints about that just because that was more to do with like the council, so they had to like kind of cut it earlier than usual, so they didn't get the whole him flying in the sky to Whitney Houston, like they didn't get the whole shebang. But I don't know, I just thought, but again, you just, I don't know, as a Drake fan, you kind of get used to it, and you just kind of desensitize yourself to people complaining about it.
There was a bigger conversation around, you know, a British festival not platforming British artists, right? I think that conversation was very interesting that was going on, because historically Wireless hasn't always headlined big UK rap acts, and when they have, they was at the peak of their mainstream appeal, like Jay Huss's headline before DBE, Skepta, so, and that was at their peaks, right? So if you're, from a business standpoint, if you're really gonna attract the biggest audience again, you know, are you really gonna do a rehash of what you've done before? And if we're talking about most popping British acts, if you were going to headline a British act rather than Drake, who are you really going for? Like Stormzy doesn't have a big album out right now. Dave at that time had an album out.
Yeah, The Boy You Play the Heart came out, what, November?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
October, so it's like...
So on that one, because I do remember there being a lot of discussion about this. I don't know. I've actually done my research into like Wireless's history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
First of all, they never actually used to be a rap festival. They were a rock kind of indie festival.
And then they rebranded.
Then I think they had like Kanye West and Jay-Z as a headline one year, like 2009, 10, and then slowly phased into doing a big American rap artist. So that's kind of always been their bag. Obviously, the rise of the UK rap scene and stuff like that did help them have like a leg to stand on that, you know, like we can actually bring through. But like you said, it is a sorry state of affairs for the UK rap scene or just music scene in general, that we ain't really got, look past Central C, look past Dave, like, and obviously like the big ones like Heady Ones. I mean,
on a mainstream level, innit? Which is kind of the annoying part, isn't it? Because there's so much good music coming out of the UK right now, you know, 100%. But in terms of like it rising to the top, in terms of it being number one smashes, we're seeing a really big shift in just rap in general, right, on the chart. So maybe we're just seeing that as a byproduct of rap consumption really shifting over the years.
Because at the end of the day, they do need to recoup the money. And then this is the biggest festival in the UK. So it's like, I'm sure they probably would like to platform upcoming artists or the next big thing, but it's just...
But they have like that second stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes we just have to accept if these upcoming artists aren't ready yet to headline, then that's just the reality.
Because like when they have bad performances, everyone clowns them on the internet. So it's like you have to pick your poison.
And they still pick their festivals. I see like them doing it across Europe. Like you might see one in Prague or like they're everywhere. Like they will get to that point eventually if they just continue their trajectory, innit?
I feel like people would have complained somehow, some way. Because you know how UK consumers can be their biggest haters as well. It's like, oh, Dave again. Skepta again. You know, like where's XYZ? But then who is XYZ to replace that and be fresh?
Because because we're also smaller as well, we don't churn out superstars at that same rate. Whereas like, Dave is like a bona fide superstar, but you're not gonna get a Dave every like year. You're gonna like we don't have like so many states to where like you're gonna get these artists, so it is a bit difficult. But let's transition a bit to the beef. What were you guys like? Now it's been 2 years. What have you guys' thoughts on the beef at that period? What are your thoughts on it now? Do you feel like the coverage by the media was unfair? Do you feel like Drake maybe, I don't know if you think he won, I don't know. I'm going to let you guys have that discussion. But what were your thoughts on the beef and how it affected Drake's kind of legacy?
You want to start off this time?
Thoughts on the beef, objectively speaking, very entertaining one.
Yeah.
A lot of quick turnarounds and stuff like that. We love to see that, not know like I don't know, month-long delay and shit like that. Like,
there was that period between Like That and
Push-ups?
Push-ups, that's it.
Or also, wait, it was because it was.
And then there was like another
Euphoria took a while.
Yeah, then Euphoria took a while after that as well.
Oh man, Euphoria one. When that dropped, I was at the Mollies, man. You know what I mean? I was working from home that day. I saw it come out. I had him on post notifications because I was like, I was ready.
Yeah.
If he's gonna reply at some point, I knew this guy's just in his slumber waiting, plotting.
Yeah.
And I had to play in the whip. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what everyone was waiting for this whole time. You know, if you really know the history between these two
this
guys,
is like a 10-year subliminal war that we were just waiting for. But sorry, go ahead.
Objectively, like, you know, certain things haven't aged well. In Kendrick's one, I'm just, you know,
like what?
I mean, you look at now his relationship with Future. That's kind of now he's just phased out from that and gone back.
But isn't that more so an indictment on Future than Kendrick?
Yeah, Kendrick didn't claim him as a friend.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean,
Kendrick just needed a platform.
Listen, it was calculated. Use him as a ploy.
Yeah,
you know
because everyone like Future's a very commercial mainstream artist. Obviously Kendrick is as well, but you know, like the average person is gonna listen to Future. So if you needed a platform where you can get the conscious guys and the guys who just does the street rap together, I think Future's a great platform. And Future benefited from both parties.
He got both ends.
We'll get
the winner in all of this.
Yeah.
But also historically, you got to think when that was happening, the whole Metro versus Drake thing, and I think Future picked Metro as his ally over Drake.
Yeah.
And then maybe they ended up patching it up after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But what else were you gonna say?
Like it was an entertaining beef, really. Like I was never gonna be biased someone. I'll call a spade. Not like us at the time was a banger. Like no one like
still is.
I mean,
still is.
What, does it still reg off? Does it still reg off?
That's interesting.
A banger's a banger regardless. Like I don't listen to it
Still
today, but
streams,
if
man.
I hear it, I'm gonna like still a banger. Like I'm still gonna listen to it. But yeah.
No, it was entertaining. We got good music out of it.
Yeah.
I do feel like I don't know, like obviously because it felt like in that moment it was kind of Dre versus the world. Some of this has got slept on still.
Yeah, I was listening to Family Matters recently.
I just feel like some of them got slept on, but like all in all, it was good. It was entertaining. I don't feel like it damaged Drake's legacy, which just goes to show like how much of a GOAT this guy is. Because even me, I thought, the way everyone's just, I thought this might finally be the end. It's been a nice long run, but we might actually see the end of it. And then obviously he came out with the Sexy Songs for You, just to kind of get the people, remind them, drop your Nokia, just to remind people, all right, cool. And then he's obviously kind of used this project, or all three of these really. I haven't really listened to the other two, but Iceman definitely used that as an opportunity to, I guess, address truthfully what needs to be addressed whilst he's got everyone on.
You brought up an interesting thing where you said legacy. For me, his legacy has always been, I'm going to be the greatest hit maker and I'm going to have the most numbers. That's like always been his thing, where every move he makes, it feels like it's always trying to get that. Like he'll do the other stuff, he'll do the rapping on the side, but it feels like if there's one thing people are going to know me for, this summer I'm going to have a hit song. I'm at least going to be featured on the biggest hit song. But what would you guys say is his legacy if you think it's something different anyway?
Well, yeah, speaking of legacy, you mentioned a few of those things, but Drake don't make the rules in my opinion. Okay. You know what I mean? Like he can attribute his biggest points of his legacy to himself, but when you win or lose a rap beef, that's a stamp on your CV regardless of who you are. You know, if we're talking pure rap, you know, that's how you win your stripes, you know what I mean? Jay-Z, Nas, you know what I mean? And again, I liken Drake to Jay-Z a lot throughout his career. He's definitely emulated the Jay-Z pathway, you know, focus on hits, you know, dumb down your raps and all that. But I never thought that Drake would not bounce back from what happened, because when you look at Jay bounced back, you know what I mean? So I just thought history's gonna repeat itself. But you gotta win your rap beefs, especially if you're really baiting a man for 10 years and just waiting for that actual moment. You got that moment, and I don't think he played his cards right entirely, and he didn't know what he was getting himself into.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of treated it like, I've been giving these guys hits for like, 15 years, like.
He was a bit too blasé.
Yeah, like
Kendrick had like meticulously planned
the whole thing.
Yeah,
And the problem is that the reason I won't give him like a bit of leniency on that is because I feel like if you've been subliminally sending shots at someone for 10 years, you can't come now to the beef and think, just give them a couple shots, I'm a hit maker, they're gonna like this song. Like, you have to actually be aware that this person might actually hate you, and you have to take it to the furthest extent. Like, and I feel like when he dropped Euphoria, he should have realized, or even Meet the Grahams, he should have realized, no, this isn't like a joke. Like, I need to come with my best thing, and I don't feel like he actually did in that situation where I felt like with Family Matters, it didn't feel like he was trying to destroy Kendrick. It felt like
the Heart Part 6. Therefore, felt like I can feel the hate in Drake right now.
No, but I felt like that was a defense thing. It wasn't. I feel like he was upset that you guys are actually believing that I am a PDF. Is that what you guys actually? And it was him trying to defend himself, but I don't feel like it was much a jab or.
It was rebuttals, man. In a rap beef, if you're gonna resort to rebuttals, you've kind of lost, man. It's like, but
it's like if someone's joking on you and then like you try to start like explaining with logic their joke, like already you've lost. Like, already
give the clap back.
Exactly.
Give the clap
You're meant
back.
to cuss them. You're not meant to be like, no, but that doesn't even make sense because everyone's laughing. Like,
and that's what he said on Iceman. What we can all stoop to that level and just start fabricating shit.
No, but like it's about who's the better fabricator. That's what the whole. I think that's what for me made Kendrick win, is that even if he was lying, I believed it, and he made a great argument for his lies. Whether it's real or not.
Beef.
Like even Meet the Grahams with the whole fake daughter thing. It's the fact that I could believe Drake would do something like that. It's not the fact
there was no evidence for that.
But he spelled it out.
You paint Drake as a character. That's how you win the beef, right?
Because you've already hidden a child before.
He said she had an 11-year-old daughter, and everyone just lapped it up.
Yeah, but it's not about whether it's real or not. It's not a law. It's not a court of law. It's about.
It could still be real. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's not been disproven either.
It's not like we got to remember this is also like these guys are writers, so it's like who's painting the better story of the other person. And I feel like in Drake's character that Kendrick was building, it was like this guy's a deadbeat dad. He doesn't really take care of his son. He's just sleeping with anybody and everybody. He has like no integrity, no like values that he stands on.
We hate the women you fuck, and again, people just lap that up.
No, because like in Drake's music, he puts his sex life out there where he would be sleeping with this person, that person, this person. So again, as a Drake fan, you can also realize that I see some of these women, and sometimes, like for example,
it's not my business.
No, like
you're associating yourself with this man.
You know the meme where it's like there's this like pretty light skinned woman who's suddenly signed to OVO, and then you just never see her again, and then it just keeps happening where they'll get a feature from him, or not even a feature, like you just see like an Instagram thing where it's like it'll be this random woman, she's gotten a Drake feature, Drake's always giving her chains and stuff, and then it was just like nothing comes out of this. It's like these type of behaviors are like maneuvers. It's like already he's kind of painted that picture and kind of just connected the dots and made a story out of it. And that's why I thought he won. But
that's just songwriting as well. You know, it's just testament to the songwriting and rap beef. And he really leveled it up in that way.
But so for me, after that whole beef, obviously Kendrick dropped DNX. J. Cole also dropped The Fall Off earlier this year. For me, I was expecting. Obviously, Drake was dropping songs on Plot Twist. He dropped What Did I Miss last year. So
to be fair, I didn't actually like Plot Twist that much.
Yeah, for me,
I don't actually go back to that one.
Yeah, it came and went. To be fair,
I barely remember it.
Yeah, I don't think after the beef that was like I don't need just we were in the studio, we made a quick song, just give that to like I want something that either responds or not even responds actually, just says how you feel, but I don't just want like slop with you and 21 Savage and Lato and Young Thug and stuff. But so then he starts to announce Iceman. What were you guys expecting from the album? Because it felt like it was going to come out last year. It didn't come out last year, it came out this year, obviously. What were you guys expecting from Iceman? And did you want more Kendrick Lamar disses / references or even that beef? Because for me personally, as someone who like is into rap and a lot of the media stuff, it felt like every week someone would say something about Drake. Drake will post like a dump. They don't like Drake. They're dissecting the dumps, trying to link it to Kendrick. Drake likes a picture. Oh, is he dissing Kendrick with this like or the picture? Like it just felt like everything was being linked, and people obviously we know how the YouTube game works, where people get paid from this, so they might just say the most salacious things. And Drake obviously played into it a bit as well, but
Yeah, he does bring that on himself.
yeah, sometimes. But I feel like, me personally, in terms of rap media, I was getting a bit tired of the coverage. So what were you guys' expectations for Iceman? And were you also fatigued by the amount of discourse around Drake over the past 2 years?
Yeah, like obviously everyone constantly talking about the beef. It's been 2 years and it's still being spoken about.
Even like 3 months, I was over it.
But also like I referenced Jay-Z and Nas earlier. Yeah, the unks of a current day are still talking about Jay-Z and Nas. So this will continue on regardless. But when Iceman was announced, I was just like, okay, expectations. So you got to compartmentalize this. This is what I did. I was like, expectations versus the reality of what I know Drake as a rapper, as an artist. Expectations is, I want him to rap. I want him to give me his best raps.
Yeah.
You know, just give me pure raps. Just focus on that. Really dig deep into some subject matter. Maybe even evolve your sound a bit. You know, there's a lot of different genres that you can take your usual influence from.
Yeah.
Maybe try a little something like that. And with the whole, you know, comic book reference over here, I feel like he was creating some sort of theme. Yeah, maybe loosely, not a concept album, but some sort of loose theme. I was like, okay, give us like a nice brief project. You know, stop the streaming slop that you've been doing. You know, give us a real throwback to the structure that we liked. I'm not saying you have to emulate the sound of his best albums, but just give us a nice structure and something new at the same time.
Yeah.
But I always know Drake doesn't provide what I'm looking for. And he's done that consistently throughout this decade so far, where he's giving long albums and these features and it's not always fully rap.
Would you say like For the Dogs was like one of the points where you're like, I was expecting this, because a lot of people were thinking, oh, this is going to be an album for the man there. This is going to be maybe grittier. And then you get to it's just like an R&B album, and then you've got a bit of the alternative stuff that Yeet was doing.
I lost faith even before that, man.
Okay, when did you lose faith?
Like 2018 onwards, man.
Also, Scorpion, you lost faith.
I'd say around that time where, you know, he's doing the whole double album thing, and I was like, okay, he's not learning. Like, he's done More Life, super long album. Views was kind of long for its time as well. And I was like, okay, like in every album you're getting some good Drake moments and chunks, but it's not like holistic. It's not like coming together.
It's not as like you listen to Nothing Was the Same. It felt like this, like he had like a vision, and then every song on that album is meant to meet that vision, where it's the Certified Lover Boy, which I think is a very good album. It just was like, you know what? Whatever genre I want to do, I'm going to just try it. Some songs are some of his best work. Some songs are like...
I mean, CLB's grew on me over time. When I initially reviewed it, I think I gave it like a 6 maybe. But yeah, like the way I review albums on my day-to-day is more, I look at cohesion as a massive factor when I'm trying to rate an album. And his albums rarely are cohesive. And he's kind of made that such a habit. And when you start to know an artist, and it's like, okay, what can I really expect from Iceman at this point, you know? And I got what I got, and we can get to that soon. But yeah, I just didn't feel like, I knew I wasn't gonna get something perfect, you know? And that's just where I'm at with Drake nowadays, you know?
Expectations, like, ultimately, like, if he was to retire before he dropped Iceman and all these projects, I'd be happy. Like, I still listen to all of his previous stuff. He's given us so much. So it's like, I actually came into this, I wasn't like mad, like excited for it, nor did I have expectations. At this point, from Iceman and all these projects onwards, I'll just take it in it. Like I'm not having much expectations to it. But obviously, just judging by like the Iceman name, like I didn't really read into like properly deep into like what people were saying.
Yeah, so there's a serial killer thing. There was the comic book reference from the X-Men.
No, like I saw like all that the rollout, but like in terms of what people were saying, like, oh, I heard this song's rumored to be on it, that like, but in terms of the name Iceman, I did have the feeling like, yeah, this would just be pure rap. But again, I didn't want to have that expectation, because I remember Certified Lover Boy, people came into that expecting rap, and we got a bit of everything on that, but it wasn't that. Then Honestly Nevermind, people were like, all right, cool. Like shortly after he's dropping Honestly Nevermind, like, all right, we're finally gonna get rap. We've got something completely different. Yeah, I obviously liked it. Cool. Most didn't. For All the Dogs, the name says For All the Dogs. You're thinking you're getting rap. Didn't get that. So whilst I came into this thinking, Iceman, there's no way he's gonna still be doing, you know, his usual stuff, singing and all that kind of shit. I did just think, yeah, this one's gonna be rap. And I was just thinking like, obviously he was talking about how, like, should he have addressed stuff about the beef 2 years later? I agree with your point where if two people genuinely hate each other, the only way this stops is if one dies or something like that. Like,
I'm with you.
yeah.
And even then.
Yeah,
he was always going to reference it during the
Yeah.
time.
exactly.
Yeah.
I expected that. And it's like, I don't know, we aren't straight to be introspective about stuff that's going on in his life. And this is a big part of it. This is a big chapter of his life. And it's like, if he's not doing this, then he's going to rap about women and he's going to do this and you're going to complain about like same old stuff. So I kind of did expect him to kind of delve into this because this is what he's going through. He can only do his life experience and not, I guess, put on a facade and chat about something else. But yeah, coming into it, I was just expecting pure rap. And thankfully, we actually just got like some of his best ever performance rap-wise.
Okay. I think for me, what I expected... I did, for example, Fighting Irish came out, I think 2024, early 2025. And it felt like he was vulnerable. It felt like he was kind of upset about the whole LeBron situation and how kind of that whole thing played out and he's seeing who's his friend and who's not. And I really liked that vulnerability. And I was like, you know what, if I get this on Iceman, I would like it. But then I've been listening to like a lot of critics of him. And there's some people who are like, I want him to like really like say how he was really distraught about the whole thing. And I'm just like, so you kind of want him like on his knees like crying about like the whole Kendrick thing and say like, oh, I was nearly, or I might have to bleep that, but I was nearly like upset about that whole situation. And in my mind, I was like, if someone wants to say how they feel, they don't necessarily have to be completely distraught. Like they could say like, I just felt like I was betrayed. I don't really think that everyone who actually likes him like that. You can say whatever you want. And as a fan, I can decide whether I appreciate it or not. But I felt like, for me, what I actually just wanted was rap at your best again. Yeah, you can drop a few bangers. So I'm not going to expect like a full rapping thing because when he dropped Scary Hours 3 on like as a deluxe for the dogs, I did not like that at all. Because it felt like a hey nigga damn, I'm going to rap. But it didn't feel like I want to use rap as a way to express myself.
Yeah, his heart went.
Jaymilli could have done without that.
Yeah, and it makes already like a 21 song album, like nearly 30 songs. So I was like, okay, yeah, know what I mean.
Yeah, I hated the beats he picked for that.
Yeah, because he's a very like when he gets into his rapping bag, he's very like monotone, like same level, and then the beats were kind of low as well. I was just like,
I'm so done with that flow. He does that with the 5-minute raps. It's just the same flow.
But I feel like with this album, I didn't mind it because like every other song, there was like a hit / I'm gonna try to go for the radio type of song in between. So it kind of, if I was getting low, he'll pick it back up on the album.
No, hey, to be fair, I liked Story About My Brother.
No, there was individual songs where like Evil Ways and Story About My Brother, I could listen to them individually, but when I go through the start to the end, well, even if I go from the start to the end for all the dogs, it gets like I'm just tired.
Yeah, I can't play it.
And then if I go from the start to the end of Scary Hours 3,
I could have done without Red Button, but I understand that there's just a deeper meaning behind it.
But I was just over that whole period. But what I was expecting from the album was I want you to release hits, drop a song where you're sending bare subliminals, and I felt like he did that. And yeah, just enjoy making rap music. Don't just do it because everyone's like Joe Budden or like other like Ebro is saying, oh, you don't rap enough, you need to do it. I want you to do it because you want, like if you want to release a house album, release a house album. Like even last year when you released the P&D album, I was like, okay, cool. Like this has been rumored, calm. Like I don't mind listening to it. Maybe it's not strategically, if you're still beefing Kendrick, is not the best idea. But if you want to do that, do that. But if you release a rap album, I want you to give it your all. And I do feel like maybe it wasn't 100% his all. Like maybe I've seen him do better performances in the past, but I don't really think it was like an 80% performance where at least this is kind of what I'm expecting. / I know not to expect you to deliver an album maybe Kendrick would deliver, but at least this is one of the best things you could have done at that time.
My personal tinfoil hat theory is that he had to gain his confidence back to rap again.
Okay.
You know, so when I see him partnering up with P&D, it's just like, I need to do this for a bit just to kind of keep my name out there first, you know, stay a bit relevant, again, get one hit out, which unfortunately didn't have longevity in my opinion. But
Nokia.
I don't think it blew up in the way it could have. But maybe that's indicative of less of Drake, but streaming in general. We're seeing like way less artists dominate one song with one chart for like a whole year.
Yeah, because like Hotline Bling, that didn't go like away. It was like around for like maybe 2-3 years after.
Yeah, I've been theorizing a lot about how streaming's changed everyone's
because to be
consumption.
fair, what kind of hit stays beyond the moments just become much more short. But I guess that could go down to TikTok, attention span, all that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think he had to take some time first. You know, he had, like take off the rust, and then we finally got Iceman. So
yeah. What were you guys' thoughts on Iceman, and did it live up to the expectation you guys had?
I was actually pleasantly surprised. I'll be real. Like,
okay, when like, so it's the 15th. You wake up in the morning. I don't know if you guys listen straight away or like you listen to it after work or whatever. What you see 3 albums, you're like, which one did you listen to first? Because I think Maid of Honor was like the first, and then it's Iceman, and then it's Habibti.
So
which one did you click on first?
Well, the rumor started the night before. I think DJ Head was trying to spoil the party. He was like,
him and Charlemagne.
Yeah, he said rumored 2 albums.
Or it's like a triple album. It's the first triple album ever.
Right. I was like, I didn't see the triple part. I saw the double part, and I was like, okay, so this is what I'm gonna get tomorrow morning. But I was like, is he trolling? Is he just trying to get like engagement from? Wake up for work, you know, and it's probably been a couple hours since the albums came out, and I was like, okay, we're getting free. Someone showed like a picture from a music video. There were like 3 hard drives, different colors. So people are saying he's been on this for a minute. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, this is a lot. This is a lot. This is
41 songs.
You get me? Like, I was like, Drake, man, are we really doing this?
Yeah.
Is this the way to go? You know? And I was like, okay, I need to just like compartmentalize as I usually do when like, if you're as an album reviewer, right, every Friday is exhaustive for myself. It's just like, okay, now I'm doing triple the job. Yeah. Iceman is the album I was expecting. Yeah. So let me start with Iceman.
Okay.
Cool.
That's a correct answer.
You know, you got to like, I was like, I don't know what to expect from the others. Yeah. This is the main album clearly, right? Yeah. So let me go with that. And then I was just seeing people say online that, okay, this one album's R&B, one album's rap, one album's dance, house, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. Went into Iceman. And if we're getting into the full meat of like the album now, I was like, okay, first impression was like, okay, Make Them Cry is the first song. I was like, okay, I like where he's going with this. 3-4 songs in, I'm liking portions of the songs, but there's so many beat switches. And I was like, okay, you're really killing your momentum here, man, because I was loving those first beats. I was like, production-wise, he's killing it. Yeah, I haven't heard him this good with the beat selections for a minute. And I was like, oh man, you switched it up, man. You're in a groove. And the unwritten rule for beat switches is if you're gonna switch the beat, you need to switch to a better one. Or at least keep it up to par with the same one, right? Yeah.
But it feels like a smooth transition at least.
Because there's 18 songs on the album.
18 songs.
But with the beat switches, it feels like there's like 25.
You get me? And it's like, it really derails the focus, right? You know?
Because you get into a pocket where you're like, oh, I like this song. And then it just switches.
Exactly. And honestly, like, I feel like he's been exhausting beat switches for a minute now. You know, I remember like peak 2018, Sicko Mode, the whole. But now I just feel like in rap, it's a bit of a gimmick. You know, like if you got a good idea, stick with that. You can make that another song, man. Yeah. You get me? So that was annoying me at first.
What was the song with Future that has like 2 billion views?
Life is Good.
Life is Good. There's a beat switch on that.
You know, he's been doing it for a hot minute. Yeah. You know, so that was annoying me at first, but throughout the consistent listen of the album, I was like, damn, like I'll come back to this song. Yeah. I'll come back to this one. Like, because what I would usually use, I use my likes as a you know, barometer of like, okay, the songs I'm gonna come back to. Yeah. I was liking more than usual. I was surprising myself because I was like, again, I've not been a big fan of Drake's output for a minute. Yeah. I was like, all right, he's doing something here. And then the more I listened, consolidated, I had to get used to the beat switches. So again, I'm trying to work out whether the whole song overall I'm still feeling, but it kind of blends in now when I listen to it. Yeah, overall, I thought it was a good album before I get into even more, but yeah, it was decent still.
So as I said, like I wasn't really keeping up with like the rumors, the tweets or anything like that. So thankfully for me, I missed out on any rumors about there potentially being a free. And
actually, before you go ahead, I think because he was streaming, like that was one of his main rollout. Obviously, he had the ice block thing, but a lot of the anticipation was like last year he was streaming he was releasing like live streams where you'll be driving and they'll be previewing certain songs. Obviously, we're in our mid-20s now, so we don't have as much time to just be sitting and watching. Do you think that's also like kind of affected the listening experience for you, where like For Nothing Was the Same, you had enough time to see what was going on when he's marketing things? You could see it, like even with Certified Lover Boy, when he was doing the whole Young Thug will be on the album, Future will be on the album, you could like see that. But now it feels like we just see the album, listen to it, we don't really follow all that stuff. Do you think that also affects it? Like your listening experience?
End of the day, like you said, I don't have the time to tap into say streams anyway. So when I woke up to it, for example, some people might have already seen him on the stream and got a bit of it. Yo, that's still a surprise to me. Like all I saw was like little posters here and there. Obviously, I saw him do the video where he's in the warehouse. Yeah. The big ice block. Like I just saw like the mainstream shit, but I wouldn't say it really affects it for me because I'm not watching it. Like it still feels like back in the day where it's a bit of a surprise. And I woke up, saw 3 albums, and like you, I just felt overwhelmed. Like, right, let's just.
You were, as a Drake fan, you weren't like super excited. You more like, damn,
I was like,
outside. I was like,
I was excited in a sense.
Here he goes again.
Yeah. I was excited in a sense where it's like, right, what's happening here? But like, this could be great. I was worried that this could be oversaturation to a whole new degree, which again, I haven't really delved into Habibti or Made in Honor, so that kind of is still up in question, really. But in terms of the order, so obviously my girl's a big Drake fan herself, but she had work. She prefers if we both listen to it first time. So I went that whole day, the first day, just not listening to it. I'm hearing.
That must have been tough.
It was so hard because I was just like, it's looking at me right there.
You go on Twitter, everyone's talking about it.
I was working from home as well, so it's just like, I'm in my house, my speaker's there, like I could just be blasting this, but stay true to the cause. But I wanted to also listen to Iceman first because that's the one that's been the build up, the rollout, everything like that, and the other two were surprised. But obviously there was a rumor about, if you look at the first letter of each, it spells him, and it's dropped in the order of Habibti, Iceman, Made in Honor. So just off that basis, we listened to it in that order. Yeah. And I will just touch briefly on Habibti. That the first listen was something. Like it was a bit all over the place. That's why I would like to give it a few more listens before I will cast a judgment. So that was that, and then I moved into Iceman, and then when I heard Made You Cry, I thought
you thought he's back, you thought he's back,
we're here, and Made You Pay. All the majors really made you remember. Like it was good, but I agree with the beat switch thing. Like obviously it's not anything that's new to Drake. He's been doing this from way back, and it's something that's being associated with his name. And I think obviously with For the Dogs, he kind of used that as an opportunity to lay his fingerprints on it and claim the crown that I am the beat switch king, or this is my thing. If you hear beat switches, you think of Drake. But now I felt like it's a bit much. Even if like sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not work. But it's just the beat switch thing. Even though I felt like I enjoyed Iceman, I still feel like it's a great listen. If I had to critique it, I agree with the whole, just like, let's give it a rest now. You own that, you done that,
because when you talk about just Drake and how he used to be a pioneer, you know, when I'm listening to these 3 albums, that thought is still there, like ringing off at the front of my head. I'm like, Drake, you were literally one of the most innovative artists of your generation. So when I hear him doing the same gimmicks he's been doing for the last 10 years, it's like, okay, this is exactly where the expectation thing comes back. And I'm like, okay, if you really want to win people back, you really need to enter a new era of sorts and really prove artistically that you can do something different. One of the beat switches that annoyed me the most was Ran to Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, because that first portion of the beat was enough.
No, it was crazy.
It was enough. And then it goes...
I hated it at first, but you know what?
It got a bit better. Like, and then the horns come in and stuff like that, and then Future enters flow state. I was like, okay, just that bit was really like, when you first hear it, you're like, what is a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse beat, man? You know what I mean? But I don't mind it now. But like, I've listened to this album 5 or 6 times now. You know what I'm saying? So I do enjoy it more when the beat progresses. But it's just a really good example of how you're really surprising the listener, but not necessarily for the best method.
On the beat switch team, like, again, I'm on an objective, Jay. I'm not a glazer. I think, yeah, especially now, recently, especially with For the Dogs, I kind of get the feeling, yeah, that so he might have, because a lot of his beat switches are never bang in the middle and it's two splits. It's like, let's say 2/3 and then you get the last third, which is the beat switch. And it's like, I feel like sometimes I could be chatting shit, who knows, but it feels like he's kind of scared to drop a said song. So he finds a way to fuse it or mix it with two.
Yeah.
And at least he's dropped it in some sort of capacity without dropping it as a full song. Sometimes it's kind of like testing, but it's not really testing because you've officially released it. But I don't know. I look at like the tune with Sexy Red and Scissor, Rich Baby Daddy. Obviously, the main portion is the main portion, but the end of that was so good. Like, it was only like 1 minute, and like it felt like potentially he was probably too scared to release that as a solo tune. So he just thought, let me chuck it at the end of this. And it's like, the two don't really fuse together well, but it's like just a way of saying, like, I managed to get it out there. So I don't know if there's like a deeper meaning behind these beat switches.
If it is, I'd like for him to come out in an interview and say something, because he's been ducking professional interviews for a minute.
Yeah.
He just goes on Twitch and then he got the yes man questions going on, right? But, you know, Drake is obviously, like you said, he's volume heavy, right? You're giving us 3 albums. So when someone like let's say you're theorizing that if he's scared to drop that song individually, he puts it into one. You got 3 albums where you couldn't put that song in to another part. So where's the fear then? You know,
I guess for me, so he leaked 1 a.m. in Albany, which ended up becoming Make Them Remember, like a day or two before. And I think someone said in the past that they don't think he can hear a hit anymore. And it might sound crazy, but I do agree that even Nokia, I think Nokia was a hit, but I don't know if he kind of meant it to be a hit, if you get what I mean. Like, I feel like with him now, with the way TikTok moves, it's harder to just plan like a hit single.
Yeah.
It feels like sometimes he releases the album and then people choose, and then...
I think he knew that was a hit.
Who?
Only because...
Nokia?
Yeah, because he didn't put P&D on it. You think about it, like...
No, but to be fair, that whole album's like 70% Drake.
Well, yeah, I'd say so, but they got, I don't know.
That's just with Drake collab albums though, innit? Like with 21 Savage, it was mainly Drake.
No, but like even the Future one was a bit more collaborative.
But in the last 2 songs, it was solo. And now in collab albums, we're seeing a very different type of thing now, you know, where you get, if 3 guys are on the album, you might get the 2 guys on 4 songs, you get 1 guy with 1 song and then they split up. It's a weird kind of structure right now, you know? But
But yeah, I think he has... Because again, he has been doing this, 15, 16 years now, where I do think he might have not necessarily lost touch with what's popping, but I don't think he knows what is actually... Like, even with push-ups, right? He leaked it and then he released it officially. He does this all the time where he'll just leak a song and then release it officially.
I don't like that gimmick, man.
But I think it just comes off as insecure.
Audience reception.
Yeah.
And then, because you can just upload the album to streaming like 10 minutes before, he can be like, I'll take that song off. People aren't liking that one.
Yeah,
you know
he doesn't really feel like he's backing himself creatively, and that's something like I've hated with like even Kanye, where he'll release an album and then he'll adjust it like a week later, and then he'll adjust it like even with Donda, like there's like 50 different versions of Donda, and the sequencing for like most of them I hate. So it just makes it hard as a fan to kind of know what I'm investing in, because I don't really like listening to leaks. Like I don't feel
same.
It doesn't profit the artist.
I didn't follow that plot twist page or anything like that. Like the one, you know, it's plot twists. Like
even though it's his,
like I know that he's leaking shit on there, but it's like I just want to hear stuff when it's dropped.
Yeah, I want you to put your stamp on it. Say like this is what I'm saying now.
Even when you said something about 1 a.m. album, like I only found out about that after the album drop, because I'm not keeping up with the leaks.
Yeah.
But then why rename that song if you're gonna put it as a timestamp? That part I didn't get.
I guess
I don't get it.
But I guess with like timestamps, it comes with like a pressure. So
and then you gotta own that pressure, man.
Yeah, I guess. But I think he ended up making, so there's Make Them Cry, Make Them Pay, Make Them Remember, and then Make Them. Did you say Make Them Know, which is the outro. And I was like, okay, maybe that's his new kind of series / because all of those songs other than Make Them Know is kind of him getting into his rapping bag, which I thought was quite
it's like,
interesting.
why are you making last minute changes then? Are you not confident with the track list?
Yeah.
You know, are you putting leaks out, you're renaming stuff? That also kind of feeds into, I just feel like Drake's insecurity that I've seen for a long time. And it made me wonder, okay, he still sounds I'd say like less insecure on this one, but more hurt. You know, because when I talk about the actual content of Iceman, you can hear that themes of betrayal.
Yeah.
And
Like he's dissing DeMar DeRozan. He's saying LeBron ain't a real nigga. He's saying what else did he say?
He's definitely a bit more direct with it. This
Yeah,
time.
he's
Usually
dissing
we
Rick
might-
Ross.
yeah.
Yeah.
it was good to have the handbrake off for him.
Yeah.
You know, like even though it's subs, I don't count these as subs because you know who he's talking about.
Yeah.
Even trying to go at Jay for a few lines. I don't know if you lot clocked some of that.
Yeah.
The
You know, that's
redacted-
interesting to me.
Was it? But I guess that was a Pusha T
The
one.
500K, I'll take the 500K.
Oh, yeah.
Not dinner. And then whisper my name. There's a theory that he's referencing Say My Name from Destiny's
Oh,
Child.
yeah.
So I don't know how much of the weight
There's
there is.
another way. It's just like we see how you OGs are rocking, like the jig is up, like
Okay,
you was-
yeah.
like
Hey, listen, if you can't even beat Kendrick, are you really going to get back to Sub and J though?
Yeah,
That
no.
is treacherous
Yeah, there's
territory.
levels to it, though.
And he's been doing that for a minute.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Let's like that. People who sleep on that one, how him
Yeah.
and Jay have had a little thing, you know?
Because like they're both kind of battling to be kind of not unanimous number one, but number one of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
But you mentioned the run to Atlanta, which I found really interesting. So Future has started this beef. He's made 2 albums kind of saying like, listen, if you're not a part of me and Metro's gang, then boy, you're not one of us. He's pretty much the not catalyst, but he's pretty much the one who's like ignited this whole demise for Drake in recent years. And now, after all of this, he's back with Drake making a song. How do you guys view each party? So how do you guys view Drake in the situation? I know you mentioned Kendrick earlier in terms of this Future situation, but how do you view Drake in the situation? How do you view Future in the situation? Because some people, I've seen Joe Budden say that he thinks that Future's kind of like spineless for working with Drake again, because like, what do you actually stand for? You've made like a whole album kind of centered around dissing him, and now, like, why did you guys reconcile? Like, what's changed since like 2 years ago? Like, why all of a sudden do you want to be cool with Drake again? Is it because like you want the stimulus package back? Is it, what is it? Because even his latest, because you know that year where he dropped 3 albums, mixtape Future just went platinum. So why are you running back to Drake kind of thing? Why can't you just stand on, we ain't gonna make music anymore? We've had an album together. We made loads of collaborations. Like, what's the problem?
It's such a hard one to talk about because Future doesn't tell us anything.
Yeah, he doesn't really stand for anything.
Outside of the music, you don't hear this guy explain anything. We
Yeah.
got Like That. We don't even know the full backstory about Like That, how Kendrick got on it.
Yeah.
I think Metro spoke about it a little bit, but it's so annoying because it's like, okay, like we said earlier, Future kind of maybe took his Metro allegiance over the Drake allegiance, right?
Yeah.
And Kendrick came in through that maybe purely through what Metro wanted to do and really inflict some damage onto Drake. And Future backing his boy, his Atlanta boy, he did that. And then I think Drake on the song was like, I wanted to say that me and Pluto ain't really done anything. We didn't really have anything. So they must have like chopped it up. And then Future was like, you know, I was just backing my boy Metro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sorry how far it went maybe.
Yeah.
But we can only talk about what we get in the music. But
Yeah.
we need to remember these guys are real people.
Yeah.
And not to get parasocial a little bit, but it's like, you got to think about the conversations they must have been having.
Yeah.
And maybe they patched up like men.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I don't feel like with him and Future there was too much in it because, again, like you quoted, like Drake didn't really have anything too tough with Future. He gave him, like a young little 10-second mention in that tune, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
I was listening to
the
Family
easiest
Matters
patch.
again. He didn't really say anything like scathing to Future. It was
Yeah,
like,
so theirs was like the easiest to patch, and
Yeah.
lo and behold, it got patched.
yeah. So you guys don't look at Future any type of way after collabing with him again?
Yeah.
Because I do think it's a bit like,
It's a bit, yeah.
I get it, like, but also I'm a big Future fan in general. Like, he's one of my favorite artists, but like, I don't really perceive him as like a rapper's rapper where I'm kind of giving him more of a moral stance. That's a weird thing to say, maybe, yeah, but I'm just like, he's a mediator. He's a music man, like you say. He's an industry guy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really hard for me to have an opinion on it because he's not said anything himself.
Yeah.
If he's come out in interviews and said stuff, I can maybe point out contradiction about where his morals lie.
Yeah.
But I can't really dissect him in the way you can with Drake, because in the lyrics, Drake's saying, I'm this type of guy, I'm that type of guy.
Yeah.
You know, so with Future, I'm just like, maybe there's a bigger story that we'll find out in the future. I really hope we find out like the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, he's in his own category, man.
Yeah, literally. I was about to say, like, he just gives that vibe where, obviously, on the surface of things, it can look slimy, it can look shy, all that kind of shit. But he does also just look like he's just doing his own thing, going on the floor, just riding this wave, grind. Like,
whatever benefits him at that moment.
Like, that's kind of like 21 Savage as well. Like, obviously, I know 21 Savage is therefore closer to Drake.
No, but I feel like 21 Savage was openly backing. Like, he was never Team Kendrick, whereas...
He's got a record to say, like, he does fuck with both, and he's just not involved himself.
No, but even... I remember when, like, the beef, like, first ended, Lil Yachty, 21 Savage, they were, like, very much like, nah, Drake's still our guy, like... I can't really call it. Like, they weren't like at all giving Kendrick his flowers. So like they were on that side.
But they weren't dissing Kendrick as well.
No, but like you couldn't, because like Kendrick clearly wanted like the majority. So if you dissed him, like it was like glazing to a point there. It's like, come on, guys. But it felt like they were very much Team Drake, whereas Future was clearly on the other side.
Okay, so if you're Drake, yeah, and you clearly see your industry rap friends picking your side,
yeah,
why didn't they get involved? You know?
Like, no, but 21,
how would you feel if you were
21
Drake?
Savage kept it real. But then if I don't know, I wouldn't trust Future though. Like if I was him personally.
But also with the other guys, it's like, why didn't they kind of like, for example, if Drake was doing a 20v1,
yeah,
he clearly has a very arrogant personality, like where he just thought, okay, bulletproof man, bulletproof vest. He's doing it. He's wearing bulletproof vest on his shows and stuff. Like, I can take it. Ooh, maybe you really should have got some help in the end, you know. And maybe this is where we get into the whole thing of it. It's like, he's got songs called No Friends in the Industry, man. You get me? I feel like he's got a lot of contradictions.
That was 2021.
Yeah, it's been a few years. Maybe you can change your mind. But every new album, he's working with new people that he's never worked with before. And it's like, sometimes I don't understand where his morals lie. So it's easier to dissect and kind of put Drake on a certain side of the fence. The Future, you don't really get those contradictions. He's just a music guy.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to talk about it.
I guess on your point where he could have had some help or had some people in his head, I guess that was what J. Cole was meant to be. And I know
we have not mentioned that guy's name yet.
Yeah.
Interesting one.
Yeah, so let's have the J. Cole conversation. So Drake pretty much sends a shot at J. Cole saying like, listen, I'm not gonna forgive you for the part that you've kind of played in this. And to be fair, I am 100% with him, because J. Cole kind of wants to be
everyone's friend.
He wants to be everyone's friend, but in the back of his head, he still thinks he's better than these man. Which is kind of slimy in the sense where he still thinks he raps better than Drake.
He's a confused guy, bro.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for so long.
Because I've listened to all of his interviews, and there was one interview, I think it was the Cameron one, where it was like, yeah, like I'm Del Curry and there's Steph and Seth.
Boom, 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 boom. Don't forget that one.
You know, like Del Curry's their dad. So he's trying to say like, yeah, I'm seeing my two sons fight. Bro, why? You can't son these guys when you're on stage saying that you couldn't sleep when you were dissing Kendrick Lamar. Like, these are the things where it's like, and you got to remember, J. Cole's the first one to send the diss out of all of these, man. So it's like, okay, you dropped a whack diss. Cool. But don't like take it back and then delete the diss and then act like, you know what, like, if I was to compete, I'm better than these, man. No, you had your chance. Like, everyone had Drake had his chance to prove if he can rap better than Kendrick in a rap battle. He took that opportunity. I respect him for that at the very least. Like, obviously he didn't win, but I respect him for that. Kendrick, he took that opportunity. He's hated him for 10 plus years. He's taken his opportunity and he's won the battle. J. Cole, you had your chance to get involved. You didn't have the heart for it, but don't like try to rewrite history saying, I'm still rapping better than these. Nah.
If we talk about Future being the biggest winner of all this, he is by far the biggest loser.
Yeah, yeah.
It's either him or Rick Ross.
No, I think it's definitely because like J. Cole was coming off for me like off form. He was probably one of the hottest coming into that whole beef period where he dropped the off season, which I really liked. It was one of maybe for me one of my favorite J. Cole albums, and it was also like
he got his first number one.
Yeah, he
obviously through Drake, but like,
exactly. He got his first number one. He was jumping on features, going crazy, and I felt like that period, especially off the off season, was kind of this is what J. Cole wants to do. People accepted him for it. Good songs on there. He was rapping at a good level. What's to hate? And it felt like Kendrick was absent in that period a bit with the 5-year break. Drake was like starting to go on the decline a bit with the For the Dogs period. So I was like, yeah, J. Cole, like, you're of form. I'll put you at number one in the big three. And then it's like he saw that, he got gassed by it, but he wasn't ready to like actually behead these guys. Because the thing is, just because Kendrick doesn't drop doesn't mean he's not like regarded as one of the greats. So like I feel like J. Cole thought, oh yeah, because everybody rates me now, that automatically I'm the best. But it's like, no, you still have to kind of finish the job to a certain extent. And I felt like he didn't realize how kind of serious this was for all of their legacies, where Drake's also battled before. So him losing to Kendrick, for me, doesn't really, going back to the legacy conversation, it doesn't really change anything for, I'm just happy that he went out, we finally got that sorted. But for J. Cole, you haven't battled anyone in that level. Your albums, for me, sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss, but cool. If you have like a battle where you've beaten like Drake, now like ranking wise all time, I'm putting you up there. But you haven't done that. So like what else? Like what do you have to your name that sets you apart from like a Nas or a Biggie or a Tupac, or like what do you have to show for yourself? Because all of these guys, they've battled someone, they've dropped timeless classics, where J. Cole, yeah, you've got 2014, but other than that, compared to like other greats, you're still a bit top 20, top 25 all time, where it's like, you don't just deserve this number one spot just because you've done things that I've never seen someone do before. So yeah, my whole thing with J. Cole, I was just kind of...
Hey, listen, man. Ain't nothing worse than an insecure rapper.
Yeah.
I'll say that from the jump. And he's been insecure for a long time now. He's been insecure ever since he dropped Middle Child. You know, and I think a lot of people overlooked that song in the big three dynamic.
Yeah.
And maybe the Middle Child thing wasn't as clear as when it came out, but it's crazy how all of those years later, he still feels that way, you know? Even when he freestyled over...
Pipe Down with Heaven's EP.
Yes, yeah, he mentions that he's out of the big three. Since 2014, he's out of the three, he's been the one to always reference them three. He even did it on Forest Hills Drive. You know, you might be Drizzy Drake or
Kendrick Lamar, but you ain't J. Cole. You know
what I'm talking about? So it's like, it's always been on his mind. And like I said, from the interviews, he's a confused guy. You know, he doesn't... I even take it back to... There's so many examples. I could list them off for ages. The No Name thing, where he was just saying how like, he kind of baited her out, then he had to take it back.
Yeah.
You know, he's clearly... He doesn't know where he stands on things. And sometimes I feel like it comes across in the music as well, where he's not able to articulate a clear concept on an album.
Or commit to it at least. Like, he might have one, but then he doesn't want to, because he's trying to do the pacifist thing as well, he doesn't want to have the venom where he's like overly condemning someone. So like, I don't know, it's just interesting with him. And then obviously he's dropped the second album out of the big three, where he's dropped The Fall Off, which I want to know you guys' thoughts. Like, what were your thoughts on The Fall Off? Do you still listen to it to this day, or is it,
No. I mean...
The replay value weren't there for me still, so I don't really have too much. I like the tune with Future and Thames though.
Yeah, that was good too. Blue Battle Blues, I think.
Yeah.
I rated it positively when I reviewed it. It took me a while. It's a long album.
Hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, a very long album. I was worried from that jump. In the end, I gave it an 8 out of 10 on my Miccheque reviewing on Instagram. But then a lot of people were on to me. Like, all the J. Cole fans came out of the woods acting like I gave it a negative review. And I was like, hold on. It's supposed to be good, man. But they're talking about, you know, all of these fan bases now, they go mad online when you review something and you have some form of critiques on it, because I prefer disc 1 to disc 2. I didn't like some of the rap tropes he was trying to do in this too.
Yeah, the Tupac thing.
The Tupac, that song I can't listen to. I can't listen to it. He's doing the Common thing. I used to love her.
I like that song though.
While I like the song,
you're
just rehashing stuff we've seen before. If this is going to be your legacy-defining album, and it even applies to Iceman, every time you're releasing an album that's detrimental to your career, consequential is, and that's the better word, is that you need to be doing something a little bit game-changing. But he just does the same old things, and I'm still listening to disc 1. I still got some replay value for me. But it's not the show-stopping grand moment that he was building up for 8-9 years or whatever the case it was.
Like, I feel like I'll listen out of all, like, if I was to rank GNX, Iceman, and The Fall Off, for me it would be GNX, Iceman, and then The Fall Off in that order. Because I feel like, and I don't know, maybe Iceman might grow on me as the year goes on and stuff, but it felt like GNX was not only a moment, but there were songs like Reincarnated where that's probably one of his best rapping performances I've ever seen. He's got hit songs on there. Obviously, the whole Super Bowl thing. It just felt like that album was like a moment. It was a victory lap. It was him like fully encapsulating that whole beef period. And I was like, okay, cool. I always remember 2024, that album will always be like etched in my memory. Iceman, that's your kind of comeback album. I like that. I do think there's lows on Iceman and there's not like highs like there were on Certified Lover Boy. But like, this is like a good Drake album. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, cool. But with the fall off now, it's like J. Cole's rapping at a level where I've never seen anyone else do before. But an hour and 40 minutes of J. Cole, I can't, and if this is your last contribution to rap, and it's not better than the off season for me. That's crazy.
No,
that is insane to me. Like this can't be the way you go out where I'm listening to the off season. I think is, but obviously maybe 2014 Forest Hill Drive is in its own like it's like the time, the whole Mike Brown death, and like there were so many factors that made that album what it was.
I think it's the thing where you talk about the expectation as well.
Yeah,
there was so much,
and he's been referencing the
saying.
fall off for like 7-8 years to a point where it's like this better be.
This has to be like the creme de la creme.
And for me, it was just another J. Cole album, which for me isn't like. Would you say Born Sinner is? Well, did you say the fall off is better than Born Sinner?
I prefer the fall off to Born Sinner.
Okay, but would you say it's like far off each other?
Born Sinner's not aged that well for me, man. If we're getting into the deeper bit, because I remember he's trying to do the crossover thing. Yeah. You got TLC, You get me, the Miguel stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think, again, like on Born Sinner, he's playing some caricatures, like taking things from people in the past. Like he's got Outkast sample, this, that, and the third. Which is also parts that I don't like about the fall off.
Yeah.
You're interpolating Jennifer Lopez. Come off it, man, please. I don't want to hear that. But I think the off season you mentioned is like, I do like the off season, but it's not my favorite J. Cole album. I think it's a bit overrated in some aspects. And I think the fall off is exhaustive, but I think I get better consistencies in pockets of the album. You know, you get like Quick Stop. I feel like that like it's nearly the penultimate song of the fall off. You know, you get some storytelling. You get like Jermaine putting his heart on his sleeve, and the rapping ability, like you said, I value rapping ability.
What was the song? Is it The Inevitable where he's rapping from reverse? I'm like,
but yeah,
this guy is crazy.
I like that, but then again, Nas has done that before.
No, but when J. Cole did it, I was actually like impressed.
He should have went for 5 more minutes on that, because if he's talking about his life, he could have fitted so much more in it.
But I think it was perfect to me personally.
You think? I wouldn't say it was perfect for me, but I do enjoy it a lot.
No, because that was the lead single. I was like, geez, if this is the level of rapper you're going to do on the album, everyone better be concerned, because boy. But yeah, I think J. Cole, I don't know. I don't think J. Cole has this thing where I don't know if he's never been he struggles to be the face of the like hip hop, but he also wants the credit of being the face of hip hop, if you get what I mean, where he has the ability to a certain extent to be in big three conversations, but I don't know if he has the character to where he wants to be treated like a superstar, like the way Kendrick Lamar and Drake are constantly spoke about. Because I was watching I watched Michael yesterday, and the way people were like treating Michael Jackson back there, you just look at that, you just think that amount, the way you're kind of like separated from humanity is just like Michael Jackson can't even just walk in a shop.
Yeah.
Everyone will be fanning over him.
Irreplicable, man.
Yeah, like it's just that type of stardom is just crazy, and I feel like Drake and Kendrick are more comfortable being stars like that, where J. Cole wants to ride his bike through New York or just sit through a random beach, and
he wants to do everything.
He wants to do everything. He wants to play at a Chinese game, but if he wants to be at that level where he's the number one guy, he can't do those things, unfortunately. So I think he kind of has trouble taking the responsibility of being number one, but also taking the responsibility of being number one, but he also wants his talent to be appreciated as like it should be, because he's like one of the best rappers I've ever seen.
You just end up being a jack of all trades, but just a master of none. Like, you just leave yourself thin.
Yeah. Whereas like Kendrick is like committed to being the conceptual guy where every album he's gonna try to push something, whether you guys like it or not. He's gonna try to like pick a medium, make an album where no one else has done that before. Drake is gonna be, I'm gonna have the most hits by the time I'm done. I'm gonna have the most statistics that anyone's ever seen. Where, you know, like when you look at like NBA and you look at a stat and it's like, oh, LeBron's at the top of this, LeBron's at the top of that. Drake kind of wants to be that with rap, where who's got the most number ones? Oh, Drake. Who's got the most number one albums? Drake. Who's got the most this and that? So I also think as well, I want to know you guys' thoughts on this. Do you think that whole big three thing is kind of, I just view it as like a marketing scheme in a sense where I don't know if, because some people like to debate like, oh, is Future meant to be in there? Is Future better than J. Cole? Obviously, I get why the big three started. It was because of that, the lyrical ability and the commercial success. And Future might have maybe hits and the commercial success, but he doesn't maybe have that lyrical ability. But I don't know if I completely believe in that concept, because when you look at, let's say, for example, tennis with Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer, that big three thing kind of made a bit more sense where Nadal would dominate on clay. I think he lost like 2 games out of hundreds on clay. Federer was the artist. He was the one that before those two popped off, he was just winning Grand Slams. And then you had Djokovic, who's still playing to this day and has the most.
The antagonist as well.
Yeah, he was the antagonist. He was like the villain out of the three of them. And it's like each of them dominated something. Whereas J. Cole, in that big three analogy, I can say what those two dominate, but I don't know what J. Cole kind of dominated.
Yeah. The analogy's washed now at this point, man.
Yeah.
You know how long it's been since these guys came out and we're still talking about big three?
Yeah.
I think if anything, it's indicative of, like you said, media making stuff. Like Ronaldo and Messi was, cultivated. You know what I mean? You don't really have the equivalent of that nowadays.
Yeah.
You could maybe have it with Haaland and Mbappe, but it's not really been there. Not even in the same league, so it's not even possible. But also, you don't really have the true replacements for those three artists.
Yeah.
And if you can't get it, people are just going to keep using the same label on the same three artists. The people that could have maybe replaced them, they don't tick all the boxes. And I think maybe it's indicative of the artists and the quality of music, but also just the era of music consumption that we're in. It's really hard to now like homogenize the whole world and just one artist, because back in the day, the labels could push for an artist and we have no choice but to listen to that artist, because like you said earlier, we don't have DSPs and stuff to kind of pick and choose who we want to listen to. But now it's like the fan bases have spread and scattered. Now you get these small subcultures now. So now someone like a Jid, even though his rapping ability is crazy, he can never be a J. Cole or a Drake or a Kendrick. He just has come up in the wrong era, and Future again doesn't tick all those boxes. So every time someone tries to say this guy could have been in there, you can never do it, man. It's history.
They say like Tyler Creator, they say like Nicki Minaj. It's like,
it doesn't.
But it doesn't really kind of work like that. But I think that whole big three was a good marketing scheme. I do think it became more so like a big two at a certain point, where it was more so just Drake and Kendrick battling for that number one spot. Where Kendrick was more so the critically acclaimed one, and then Drake was more so the commercially loved one.
But like you said, like there's always gonna be a big three of everything, whether it's football, tennis, music. It just so happens that for this one, it just doesn't really work, and we might just need to accept that.
Yeah, we need a medium three now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like nothing will hit the heights of them three. We need to just accept the climate we're in.
It's just not as black and white as that. There's just it's just.
So, we'll talk about big three. Do you guys... what was I going to ask? Actually, I'll switch topics. The lawsuit, right? So he does reference it that he's not suing a rapper. He's suing a label. He's released 3 albums. Some people say this is to be contractually out of the deal.
Officially confirmed.
I don't know if it's official.
A credible source said it.
But I've seen a couple of people say that. What were you guys' thoughts on that whole situation? And do you think, because me personally, I don't think fans should be as concerned about the whole legal business, especially when you're not in the industry. It's like, I can interview someone who might be able to tell me, or like a trusted source. But when it comes to listening to music, those type of things shouldn't affect. Like if you dropped 3 albums, I shouldn't care, this is going to get him out of the deal, so I don't care about the quality. Like, if you release 3 terrible albums, I should just say these are 3 terrible albums, regardless of whether you drop 3. I don't think all 3 are terrible. I do like Iceman, and I think the other 2 we could review at another time. But Do you guys think that the whole legal dispute and the lawsuit has affected Drake's legacy the most, would you say? And do you think that him releasing 3 albums was a good move? Because I do think, for some people anyway, when they look back at Iceman, that whole 3 album thing, they're like, nah. Especially after Chris Brown dropped that 42 album thing. I think a lot of people are just tired of large quantity of music.
See,
from
with the 3
artists.
album thing, like, you spoke about previously how like Drake's whole thing is, obviously he will delve into his genres, he will do his music, but his thing is, I'm the best. I will top the charts and I will dominate that.
Yeah.
And I feel like with these 3 albums, that was definitely in his mind that I'm gonna use this opportunity to clear through the whole of the charts. So we saw that like the whole of the top 40 was just consumed of Drake. Obviously,
That's crazy.
Predominantly with Iceman, but
Releasing 41 songs and 40 of them being in the top 40s, I'd say.
it's insane. But like, I feel like this was him kind of using his last huge opportunity to just claim the charts as his own. So I feel like that was obviously the aspect of getting out of the deal, but I feel like that was definitely one big aspect of.
You know, the deal thing's interesting because even on Iceman, he says, difference between getting out of your deal and being let go from your deal, obviously mentioning Kendrick's thing, right? But then he spends a lot of Iceman talking about free me, I want to leave my label, whatever. And this is where you can spot Drake's contradictions in what he talks about, because when it's his own character and his own motives, he has a totally different perspective on it. And when it comes to other people's, he says a totally different thing, you know? And that part bothers me about a lot of how he moves and the lawsuit and the music, because you've said equally crazy things as well, like in your diss tracks, but you're picking the lawsuit thing to kind of suit your agenda of things. And this is where I can't only rate the lawsuit if you don't stand on one particular side yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you're picking and choosing what rules work and what rules don't work, then I really can't rate what you're doing. And obviously a lot of people say that, you know, if you're going to keep it strictly rap, keep it in the music, so on and so forth. Some people might argue Kendrick didn't do that because of accusations that he threw around on Drake, but I just feel like he's trying to leverage something from a bad situation, you know. And obviously, like, again, we're not lawyers, so I do agree with you slightly where we can't speak entirely on something that we're not well informed on, but it does look wet. I mean, like, in layman terms, like,
on the surface of things, it was never going to look good. There's no way you could have spun that in a way which was going to look beneficial for him. And I'm sure he actually thought about that, assessed his options, and was prepared to take it on the chin. I guess if there's a bigger picture, which, as you said, we're not really privy to that, so it kind of doesn't affect us. But yeah, on the surface, it would never have looked great. Oh yeah, go through a little battle with Kendrick, and then you're going to sue him for the diss track. And obviously the one that was meant to be like the nail.
And the thing is, he was trying to sue him in the sense that he was saying, I'm suing him because they bought his streams, they've paid for. But then as like fans, we're all telling you like, no, we choose this song. Like, this is the song we all like. And for me, whether or not Like Us has 100 million streams or 200 million streams, it doesn't change the fact that he won. Or it doesn't change the fact that a lot of people know this song regardless. Like, I don't care if Kendrick Lamar gets a plaque for Not Like Us. That song, even if it had 10,000 streams, it still had the impact on the culture where people in the UK are listening to it, people in America are singing it at the Super Bowl and whatnot. So it's like, to me, regardless of the argument you're making against the label, we as fans it's not important. Like, you still lost regardless. So, and I also don't like how he's trying to be a...
So are you excusing like botting and streams and all that?
No, but then it's like, what is bottom? Because then if Universal say that we did that for Drake as well, then now what?
I do feel like
No, because
Drake
it's like,
has
if
done
Drake's
that.
brand is like, I'm the number one guy, why would they do that for him as well? It doesn't really make sense. Type of
and
thing.
Drake's peers as well. 21 Savage was caught botting streams on
Yeah.
his last project. So again, you're hanging around people who are botting.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're using that one rule against Kendrick, but you're not applying it to your guys as well.
Or
So
even yourself. So it's like,
you need consistencies in your beliefs, man. You know, and it doesn't translate in the music, because that's, again, like on Iceman, it's like, it's harder for me to enjoy the raps. Like earlier you said it's some of the best rapping he's ever done, but then I compare it to the fall off that we're mentioning, and it's like, is the rapping on Iceman even better than Cole's on The Fall Off? Like, I feel like J. Cole was doing the madness on The Fall Off. And on Iceman, we get like, you know, Drake's been doing this thing that's like the similes, the very simple bars, like, oh, I'm grateful like cheddar cheese, or he's saying stuff like that. And I'm like, Drake, you're ruining the song for me.
So you guys weren't fucking with the Aiden Ross bar? I thought that was
you know I didn't clock it straight away, you know.
Yeah.
But the full bar is what on that?
He was like, I was Aiden Ross's streams before
Aiden Ross ever hit a stream
or something like that.
Yeah.
At first I was like, oh, there's another Aiden Ross bar. And then when I actually clocked, I was like, oh, this is hard. This is hard.
Rick
This is
Ross,
hard.
Aiden. Yeah. Like, he does some of that a little bit, but I don't like the whole the bar structure of similes. He's simile heavy. Take Shebang, for example. Like, I don't like the flow he's doing on that, even though that's clearly looking like it's going to be the hit of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the bars is like da-da-da-da-da-da.
But I guess as well, it's like when you've released albums every year, I think he's even released more albums per year than he's been out. It gets to a point where, like, there's only so much you can innovate, you can do where, like, you know, some artists might go away for a couple of years, find a new style, be around some, like when Kendrick Lamar was doing Mr. Morale, he was in Ghana, he was like taking different inspiration, went to therapy, like, so like, you could see the changes in his music where it affected his character, he's rapping in different ways, he's trying different things. But as Drake is like,
it's physically
every year, it's physically impossible to like every year change your whole kind of structure whilst touring, whilst being in like different movie projects where you had the whole reroute and all that.
But it is physically possible to scrap a bad bar or an average bar. If you feel like you've reached the pinnacle of your rap lyricism, okay, at least keep it in and around there.
Yeah.
Like when he's writing certain stuff, I can't believe that he is actually going into the booth and recording that bar.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, okay, the humor's landing.
Yeah.
Like even with Kendrick, you can tell when he's saying something and he's just saying it in jest.
Yeah.
Like Too Hard for the Radio, for example. I find that really funny.
Yeah.
The West Coast flip, like I'm gonna show you how to do it and all that. Like I genuinely feel like Drake's
that was one of the
humor-
only beat switches where I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. The second beat was better than the first beat. That's when it works.
Yeah.
But some people were like, oh, like on the West Coast, why is he doing that? But I'm like, nah, okay, let me just blanket statement and be like, objectively, this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know? But those moments that I feel like really funny, humorous moments, and he's being self-aware are let down by when he's clearly giving a whole verse of like really bad similes. And if we want to hear Drake rapping properly, I just feel like it's not a good showcase of his skill set. And people just give him a pass for that because the beat sounds good and the hook's all right.
Yeah.
And why are we giving Drake passes when we know he can write better than this? And this is why people set a standard for him, because people know how talented this guy is. And it's really kind of, a shame when he's not living up to that expectation that he himself has proven in the past. You know, so if I did have something that I did want more from Iceman, it would have been less of the cringe bars and the bad lyricism. It could have elevated a bit more.
But I guess as well, it's like, he's one of the most difficult artists to critique as well, because like you said earlier, he kind of knows he's kind of quote unquote corny. So because he's kind of embraced that, it's like he knows that people are going to hate on him regardless, and he knows people will love him regardless. So it's like, how do you evolve in that kind of space where you know regardless, people are going to either question your masculinity, they're either going to question like how tough you are, and then there's going to be people who accept you for like how vulnerable you might be or the corniness, or they might just think it's funny. So it's like, how do you evolve where your whole fan base, everyone who like checks for you, quote unquote, it's just like,
I mean, he had the chance to do that with 3 albums.
Yeah.
So if you want to get that out of your system, okay, fine. Let's even just give him the benefit of the doubt. 3 albums, a lot of music. Okay, you have different visions that you want to implement, right?
Yeah.
He kind of did it, but if you want to dumb down your lyrics, go put that on this album over there. And at least for Iceman, give us all your best bars, you know? But he mix and matches it. And this is the problem with him, where he can't hit the vision properly.
Yeah.
Jermaine also can't hit the right vision. He can't execute it fully. You know, they always do half measures.
Yeah.
It's like, no, go the full way, which is why people always appreciate Kendrick as an artist a bit more when he's creating concepts. No,
Even if you think the concept's ours, he still at least went
he meets it like entirely. And it's like, yeah, you got 3 albums and Maid of Honor, which is a bit more party dumbed down. I can take a Sexy Red feature on that because I know that this is the intention of the album. And when I'm reviewing something, I need to see your intent.
Yeah.
You know, are you trying to give us your best bars on Iceman? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. If you want to give us average bars, go do it on another album. You know?
So like when you review albums, so like the way I review albums personally is like, what did the artist plan to do versus what did they actually give us? So for example, I like to look at what was the album cover like, which is another discourse on social media. What was the rollout like? What were the lead singles? All these things can like paint a picture as to what you want me to experience when I first click play on your album. And then when I listen to the album, what type of music videos, what type of vision, all of these things kind of add to the album experience. So when I'm reviewing it, I'm like, okay, if you're trying to have like a very somber album, but then you're making you're trying to have like a very somber album, but 5 songs on there are like party songs. Sometimes I might be like, oh, why did you do that? And then maybe I could question whether it's cohesive or not and stuff. But I felt like with Drake, with the album rollout, because I was trying to like follow it as it was coming out. I didn't watch the streams in full, but I caught like the highlights and stuff. I felt like my expectations, as I said earlier, you know, just do the usual Drake thing, have a banger, have like a timestamp / those type of rap songs where we actually hear like how you feel in that moment. It was interesting to hear the whole dad thing, because when I first heard that his dad was battling cancer, I was like, oh, okay, like that adds like another human element to where
substance. Not
to say like it's an excuse for you losing to Kendrick, but maybe you were a bit distracted because like you're meant to be this provider for so many people, and like, you know, when life just hits you where you could be having a great week and then you just hear like someone's died or like someone's going through something, and then that just kind of affects like your mental state, and you end up making decisions where it's like, why did I don't usually do that. So like I can hear that to a certain extent. I feel like with usual Drake albums, because for me, even since like Certified Lover Boy, where it's a bunch of emojis on the album, it doesn't really feel like he's taking it. And then what was it? Way Too Sexy is kind of like the lead single. I didn't really...
See, I did like Way Too Sexy.
No, it's not even about whether the song's good or not. It's more so like...
The novelty?
The novelty, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't know how seriously he wants me to take it, the album. So with Iceman now, I felt like as a comeback album, it delivered in the sense that it's Drake getting back to his like medium state. But I don't feel like it pushed him further than he usually... I don't think there's songs that are better than Pipe Down on there. I don't think there's songs that are better than Champagne Poetry on there. But there are a lot of good songs on there. Like it's an enjoyable listen if you want to listen to Drake, but it's not like
Made You Pay was like some real...
No, it was some good bars,
Drake.
but like I was listening to that like 5 years after that song was
I'm
released.
putting Made You Pay on Champagne Poetry.
I guess time will tell.
Poetry as well.
I guess time will tell. I guess.
I think the intro to Made You Cry is one of my favorites on the project, and that reminded me of prime Drake. Yeah. People have even been comparing that to Tuscan Leather a little bit.
No, Tuscan Leather.
When that beat is not us on par, but when that beat comes up, the switch on the intro, I'm like, this is the one. And
Tuscan Leather makes you feel different. Right?
And the rapping, you can tell he's focused on the rapping there. He's giving some substance and he's digging a bit deeper. The whole aspect of the song is let me dig a bit deeper. You know, and it is a callback to Tuscan Leather. It's like too deep for the intro, too long for the intro, all of that stuff. Even Jermaine's done that before. But when he gives some substance, especially about how he's been feeling, that's when Iceman's at his best. You know, like there's proof that despite the name and the whole superhero references, he's not indestructible. And I think he finally admits it on the project about how much losing friends really impacted him. Which is why I just say this, like, are people listening to the lyrics? And this is where I can give Drake a little bit of credit, because he didn't just act like he's like running the show. He did say, okay, I got a chink in my arm.
I actually like lost. Like
and I'm not dealing with it well.
What were you guys' thoughts on the album cover, in the sense that kind of like he plays like a lot of... He likes to make a lot of Michael Jackson references. Obviously, the glove is iconic, really known for Michael Jackson. Immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh, what are you trying to do on this album? Obviously, he has a Michael Jackson feature. What were you guys' thoughts on the album cover and like social media where the White House is doing the whole MAGA thing. Scottie Pippen had like the 6 rings. I've seen a couple other companies like do the album cover and then just make it a twist of their own company. What are you guys' thoughts on it?
I feel like it's his covers are usually a product of their time, and we're seeing that this decade. Like the Michael movie came out this year.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very strategic in the way he's using it, because again, it's like you said, it's a marketing play really.
Yeah.
Like the movie came out, he probably had so many covers he could have choose, and he had them ready, but he went with that one. He's compared himself to the fact that he's chasing Michael's record as well. I think was really, because if this album goes number 1 or a song goes number 1, he's surpassed Michael's record for number 1. So I just felt like it's like, okay, I'm like the Michael Jackson of maybe Toronto, because he's doing the 6 thing, you know what I mean? So I think he was trying to make a point of legacy for the cover, and I didn't mind it. I didn't hate it. It's obviously a grand statement, but at this point, I expect Drake to make grand statements that don't match up to the actual reality. You know, so maybe I'm just numb to it.
I feel like after Certified Lover Boy, I just kind of stopped paying attention or giving any energy towards his album covers. I guess Certified Lover Boy went, to this day, I can't rationalize it, I can't explain it, but again, I guess an album cover is just an album cover. It's all about the product at hand. But obviously, I looked at this one. I saw, all right, cool. Again, like you said, the timing is typical, isn't it? Like, like Michael Jackson movies taking over the world, and then this is the album cover. I get it. Iced out glove, throwing up the 6, Toronto. As you said, he's always played with the whole Michael Jackson thing. Always hinted about how close he is to touching certain records, and I guess with the fact that he's obviously dropped all 3, it's kind of like, it just feels like he's trying to stamp himself as the greatest of this generation, the Michael Jackson of this generation. I wouldn't say that, obviously, because I have my own personal views on who the closest to Michael Jackson is.
Don't say Chris Brown, please.
I was in a debate about this. Look,
Please.
Bruno Mars, bro.
Like, even worse.
Bruno.
Even worse. Stop.
I know he's cool. But like,
it's not about no corny.
He's the closest. I mean, first of all, sonically.
What about The Weeknd?
I was about to say sonically, The Weeknd. When I heard "Don't Matter Me," the Michael Jackson song on the school, I can't help but also hear The Weeknd on that song as well. But
for me, it's
stylistically, Bruno Mars.
Okay, that guy does. But
Chris
to me,
Brown
he
lost
doesn't.
that crown.
He doesn't. He makes great songs, but he doesn't like push anything forward. Like he does. Like, what would you say he's contributed to music in terms of changing the game? Like, it's not really a.
Does he need to be a game changer? Does he need to be
to be on Mike's level?
Mike was a game changer.
No, but no one's Michael Jackson in it. Like,
no, but I'm just saying, like,
closest.
even if you want to make the argument, like, even Beyonce, for example, you can make the argument she's changed the game to a certain degree with some of her albums, where Lemonade, for example, like that whole concept.
Well, there's many ways you go down it, and
Renaissance.
as I said, sonically, I hear The Weeknd most.
Yeah.
Like closest in that regard. Obviously, still not even close, but yeah. I said stylistically, Bruno. But I guess if you're gonna talk about impact, maybe someone else.
It's only, for me, it's only Beyonce.
And then you got performance as well.
Yeah.
Like being
Performance,
able
I'll
to
give that to
dance.
Chris Brown.
You get me?
Yeah.
And then you got the movies that Michael did, and the kind of the whole Michael mania aspect and stuff. You know, the fan bases never really had the. It's weird because you got big fan bases nowadays. Even with someone like Taylor Swift, nowhere near MJ, but in terms of a fan base, they're crazy.
Yeah.
But still not Michael level crazy.
Exactly. But
So
I looked at that cover and I thought, like, it's something he's always played into. And again, he's just reached that stage where he's really trying to hone in on certain things. He might have just dabbled in it here and there, dabbled with the beat switch, dabbled in with the Michael Jackson references, and now it just feels like he's just honing in on everything. I'm the stream king. I'm the Michael Jackson's generation. Yeah.
on the second part with the kind of MAGA stuff, right? Yeah. I think when a lot of the Ice controversies were happening last year, people were saying, is it a good idea to call your album Iceman?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it must have got back to him. But maybe, I don't know. It's a tough one because obviously it's like, you got to read the room, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, so one side of the spectrum is read the room, change the name. But the other side is you've kind of been working on an artistic vision. In your album, your songs, you're saying the word Iceman. So it's like, can you really change the name at this point?
But then some people would then say, oh, Drake's kind of apolitical. He doesn't really, like, even when Black Lives Matter, you won't really hear him say much. But then at the same time, it's like...
And he uses the DJ Khaled this.
Exactly, but then it's like,
Palestine.
for me, I'm a person where if you don't want to ever speak about politics, that is your choice, but then at the same time, don't like pick and choose where you want to kind of jab at it.
He uses it when it suits him.
Yeah, I don't like
when
that.
you're mentioning
like
Palestine, you're just getting at DJ Khaled.
Yeah, but then it's like you're a man of Jewish descent. Like, what are your thoughts on it then? Like, what are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Yeah.
And then
I believe he has actually contributed towards like helping and aiding that side of things. But I do agree where like if you're gonna mention Palestine, obviously he's using it in spite towards DJ. If you're gonna delve into that bag, then slightly, you just need to go all in. Or not all in, but like you can't pick and choose when.
Yeah, like you can't say he needs to speak up, but like you haven't spoken.
Or
up.
like you're using it in a malicious way. Or like not with like the actual intent of people in Palestine and stuff like that.
Like they're not a prop. Like people are actually dying in this like conflict. And then also when he mentions like the fake feds in reference to the actual ICE organization in America, it's like again, it's like don't jump into politics a bit and then like you're not gonna, because then you get onto Kendrick for being like Harriet Tubman music and he's just conscious. He's trying to get the
He
slaves
doesn't get
free.
enough flack for saying that
exactly,
stuff
which is insane. And then like you're still speaking about politics. To me, it's just I think it just makes it what. And then
objectively, it was a great bar though. But
he's trying to get the slaves freed.
No, the Palestine DJ Khaled.
Oh yeah, and the colours of the flag. Yeah.
It was alright. I liked it. But then as well, another angle as we wrap up is Drake he's become very predictable. Where someone said he's gonna say the Iceman is not a nice man anymore, and then on National Treasure he does the exact thing.
I don't know why he ended like that. That was such like a underwhelming ending to that song.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on? Again, he's been making music for what 16, 17 years now. Do you feel like that predictable nature is starting to annoy people? Where it feels like, and this even goes to, sorry if it's all about this guy, but even like the AI song that him and The Weeknd, that someone used of him and The Weeknd's voice, and they like made like lyrics.
Which one's that?
It got taken down, but a couple years ago there was like an AI song with Drake and The Weeknd, and the lyrics were like something Drake would say.
Okay, and it was fan made.
Yeah, it was fan made.
But it sounded like a Drake song that he would actually...
Yeah, they used their vocals and stuff, but it actually sounded like...
Oh, is it the ghost thing?
Yeah.
I remember now, yeah.
I feel like on your thing where you were saying...
Heart on My Sleeve, that's the song, yeah.
How he's like predictable, like... Again, like he's a very chronically online person. He's very calculated. I just think he just plays into it now.
Yeah. But I also think as well, it's like a lot of people are getting onto notes this year for the whole AI conversation. And I want to make like a full podcast on that, but... I feel like Drake, obviously he did that on Tailor Made where he used Tupac and Snoop. But I feel like if anyone is very, like God forbid, but if Drake was to ever pass away, yeah, I don't think it would be hard to kind of keep that brand go. If fans were to accept that the bangers, like someone to just keep ghostwriting, because he's kind of
use AI.
Not even maybe AI or like just AI.
Ghostwrite and use the voice.
Yeah. I think his brand could generally go on for like billions of years, where it's like, because we've accepted that he might not write all this stuff, we used to say like, just because it's the Drake brand and the lyrics are written in like his likeness, we used to say he couldn't go on for another, because like, I don't know if you guys see those TikToks where some guy will be like, how Drake raps, so you're like, yeah, Drake.
Yeah,
if Drake actually took this song and rapped over it.
Yeah, he's been like that for, again, like I said, a long time now. So again, it's like you kind of get a bit of fatigue towards the situation. It's like, do I have anything new to say because I've thought that he's been doing this for ages now, you know? The bit of AI that he did dabble in was tailor-made freestyle.
Yeah.
Although he recorded that himself and it's a vocal filter. So I give that one's not like the worst case of using AI. Yeah. But there was also accusation that one of these songs sounded like AI, or some parts of it was AI on Iceman. It's not really confirmed, but I can see in the future him maybe, or his label, like you said, like in a scenario where he's passed away where they use it. But obviously I don't want it getting there. I feel like you need to use, if you're going to use AI, it needs to make your job in the studio efficient and easier. Yeah. It's not to do with the art and creativity aspect itself.
Yeah, it should be like auto-tune where it's like a tool rather than...
That's why I hated the notes thing, because it's just like people were saying he's being smart and he's like, no, he's just being so lazy.
Yeah. It's anything, it's the total
but then there's also the argument as well, like if you're not giving royalties, because these AI models, they're not They don't innovate. They take from the artists that made music and then they just create off
But
that.
like you could have made an argument that one sounded like Young Bane just as much as it sounded like Notes.
No, but like people did say it sounded like Notes. So like, why is it that Notes is kind of demonized for profiting off this AI model? But
Well, then shouldn't the guy
these
write
random
the messages?
Huh?
Shouldn't the abuser write the messages?
Yeah, I know. There's a bunch
It
of
gets
don't worry, I'm gonna delve into that conversation properly. But final thoughts. What would you guys say is like a one line you would say about Iceman? What would you rate it out of 10 if you do want to rate it out of 10? And are you looking forward to the next kind of era of Drake?
You say like one line or one word?
Or like a brief like review of the album. Were you satisfied and stuff?
'Cause there's many angles you go down. So I guess you could say, and I say this like no pun intended, but I guess he kind of made people remember per se. A lot of people asked for rapping Jay.
Yeah.
They haven't got that for a while, and I definitely feel like on like a handful of these tunes, I felt like we got that prime.
He restored that
rapping Jay
feeling.
back. Yeah, restored it. That's it. That's my one line.
Alright, cool. What about you, Hamza?
I would say wounded but recovering.
Okay.
You know, like subject matter wise, I can hear how hurt he is.
Yeah.
And I commend him for speaking about it. And he's recovering in the aspect from a musical aspect. I do see this a bit of an improvement this decade at least. While I don't think it's kind of reaching a pinnacle of what he used to do, I do feel like it's a step in the right direction in order to really improve musically. I'm less concerned about him recovering from the beef. I'm more just thinking about the product itself. So yeah, I think he did. It's a good effort. Maybe 3 to 4 skips on him, maybe 5 skips. But I like what I got, and I was surprised. I'm feeling like a 7 at the moment.
Okay.
Like a light 7. That's where I'm at.
7 in terms of Drake standards or overall?
Just overall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what I feel.
Cool. Yeah. I would go like down that same route where I wasn't disappointed. I did feel like the feeling was restored a tad bit, and I do feel like Drake. I wouldn't say he's gonna get better from here, but like if Iceman or his next album was his last album, I wouldn't mind, because like I just feel like this was like a good post beef album. The other two, that's a review for another day. But that album in particular, I thought it was okay in terms of the standard that Drake has kind of maintained in the 2020s at the very least. But that's been another episode of the In My Mind podcast. Make sure to check out Hamza at Miccheque. Is there anything you want to promote before we?
Yeah, sure. It's Miccheque on Instagram, the Rap Ref on TikTok. So yeah, check it out.
What about you, Jay? Anything you want to promote?
It's my personal Jaymilli _ Yeah.
But yeah, that's been another episode of the In My Mind podcast. Let us know in the comments, what did you think of Iceman? Did you think it delivered? And yeah, it's been another episode and we're out.